Look, in deference to Lloyd, I think it's nice hearing a Labour MP offer a plan, offer a solution. My simple view is that this is about leadership. This is about extracting more from the Home Office, not just about numbers, it's about efficiency. It's about making sure that the Home Office are working as one unifying purpose. So what we have to do is recognise there's an issue. We have to make sure that we fulfil the requirements of primary legislation, which is needed to fix the problem. And until we take that legislation step, until we fix what's required to be done, we can't then legally turn these people around.
Let's just actually home in on one particular problem, and that is obviously the legal basis of holding these people at the processing centre at Manston for so long.
Yeah.
The answer immediately would be to get them into hotel rooms. We're being told by Rishi Sunak 30 more hotels, 4,500 beds. You were saying a little earlier the bill for some of these beds is £500, is that right?
I mean, let's be clear. The British government is generous. We have a proud history of taking people in, asylum seekers, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, the list goes on. We have nothing to be ashamed of at all as a country, and nor as this government. But the system's not great with 30,000 people that just turn up with no notice on our shores. As soon as they cross the halfway line, the median line, we have a responsibility for them and we look after them. But where do we put them? At £600 a night, the taxpayer no longer wants to foot that bill. Therefore, we've got to put them somewhere.
And is that why Suella Braverman, at least according to Roger Gale, was anxious perhaps not to move them out of Manston into hotels, because she knew what the headline bill would be when this was all totted up?
This is about security. Right, so it's about making sure people don't go on the loose. It's about making sure we know who's here. We've got to process them properly. We can't just allow people arriving on our shores with no notice to be running amok across the UK. Giving them hotel rooms is not the answer. Giving them beds in people's houses is not the answer. We've got to process them and quickly, and then if they're not entitled to be here, we just send them back.
Yeah. It is interesting, with the Ukrainian scheme, the British people were extremely generous and willing. Why don't we look at having other schemes like that, where rather than costing the taxpayer huge amounts of money, we can engage the British public in it, and actually also then it again means, with the Ukrainian scheme, you had to apply before you arrived to get those special benefits of the support. If you do that, you incentivise the right routes, but also you reduce the cost of the taxpayer.
If you're coming from Iraq or from Afghanistan, what access do you have to all that sort of diplomatic channel? You're literally fleeing and paying money to people traffickers and smugglers to get you across Europe.
If you're in Iraq, in Erbil, we have a consulate there, and I've visited it many times. It's a bit more difficult if you're in Syria, again, a country that during even the war, I've continued to visit because I work a lot with the Kurds, and the Kurds are one of the biggest groups of refugees that we have coming here, and I had a big meeting with Kurds last night in Parliament. But they have to come via Turkey or Greece. They have to come via places where there are British consulates, where they can then arrive. That is the advantage of us being an island. You know that most people will have had to have gone via other areas. And so there you say to people, look, at Athens, drop a base, or when you get to Paris, go via, or we create other processing centres elsewhere where we know there are problems.